Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. I'm Julie, your host, and I'm so delighted you could join us this week. My intention in doing this show is to provide information, insight, and comfort to people all around the world by helping to answer life's unanswerable questions. And we got a ton of callers on hold, so it'll be fun to see what their questions are, and even more fun to see what Spirit has to say about that. So we'll get to them in just a minute. But first, I wanted to introduce you to this just darling young woman named Sarah Small. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Julie. So good to be here with you.
Oh, terrific having you here. I was on Sarah's show, Sarah? A couple weeks ago, maybe? Something like that?
Yeah,
and,
a couple weeks ago. It just came out last week.
Yeah. And we've got the links to Sarah's show, The Uncensored Empath, on all of my social media. Everything's at Ask Julie Ryan, so you can listen to it. And Sarah's a new mom, you guys. And we tried to get together, Sarah, for 9 months or something? I think just about your whole pregnancy. We tried to find a date that was going to work for the two of us.
My whole pregnancy, yeah.
I know. It was hilarious. So I got to talk to her about her new baby, and we talked about spirit babies, and we talked about all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, it was so good to have you on and talk about a lot of the things I was curious about as well.
Right. About children's intuition, babies' intuition and children's intuition, and how that works, and what happens, of course, when we transition, but more importantly, with the intuitive stuff of how we all come in with intuitive capabilities, and it's just innate, and that's just a matter of learning to develop and enhance them is how it works. So, Sarah, tell everybody a little bit about you and then about your show.
Love to. So good to be here again. And my name is Sarah Small, and my brand is The Uncensored Empath. This is same name as the podcast as well. And I am on a mission to speak to and help the empaths of the world activate and sharpen their gifts and their skills and finally trust their intuitive power. I believe that we're all born with the ability to trust our intuition and to unlock our empath gifts. And so I love speaking to the intuitive, the highly sensitive, all the magical beings of the world to do just that and hone in on their gifts. And many of the women that I work with also build businesses around their intuition and the skill set and the wisdom that they've brought onto this planet.
What's your definition of an empath?
I get asked this question a lot. In summary, I would say that empaths are the deepest feelers on the planet in this world. And the essence of that is that we as empaths feel other people's, whether it's emotion, energy, meaning some things that are unsaid, or even physical sensations and pain as if that is our own. And it can feel really confusing when we don't know we are an empath, and to discern what is mine and what is yours, because we tend to walk around as these spongy beings kind of soaking up the energy of everything around us. And there's some classic traits that sometimes empaths portray, which is, crying when they see somebody else in pain, whether it's a movie or whether it's real life. They also tend to be more spiritually inclined. They tend to be people that even complete strangers will end up unloading their life story to. And it's something that I didn't have the vocabulary for until both my brothers have passed. And when my first brother, Jordan, died, that was really the first time I had ever heard the language around what I had been experiencing my entire life. And it was such a relief to finally have the vocabulary to describe my life experience.
So do you think people come in being empaths, or do you think they learn to be empaths, or is it both? Is it like a little bit of a combo platter?
I think the combo platter is probably what we see. And at the same time, there is a strong correlation and link between individuals who have had unstable, potentially traumatic, or just chaotic, stressful childhoods who become really, really strong empaths. And when we start to dissect that and peel back the layers of it, it really makes sense that the children who felt maybe more unsafe in the world develop these abilities to attune to their environment, to attune to the adults or other people in their life in order to best protect themselves. And I think of it as these empath antennas that are kind of on high alert, looking for the threat in the room or looking how to make mom or dad happy because they don't want to be a disappointment. And I think that those people who have had trauma or stress or chaos and lack of a strong foundation sometimes develop these skills as protection, as survival, and tend to be the very deep feelers, strongly attuned empaths. And at the same time, there can be some codependence that develops in that relationship of trying to receive approval and this validation from external forces that we can also see in empaths. And sometimes people come to me more from that disempowered state of being, and it's really helpful to look at our timeline of our life, maybe even past lives, and look at what has caused us to feel like we need the ability to listen with our whole body and attune our energy to our surroundings. And that being said, I think that everyone has the ability to tap into their clairsenses, and so their clairsentience more specifically would be the empath. So if we want to hone in on it, if we want to strengthen it, we absolutely can.
So clairsenses are what you're referring to, I assume, as clairvoyant, so you can see things telepathically, and well, I don't know, what are the other clairs? I think we're all just a buffet of psychicness. That's what I say. I'm a buffet of psychicness, so I don't get too wound up on the clairs. But
yeah.
What's clair audio or clair video or clair something?
Clair audience. Yeah. So clairvoyance would be the sight, clairaudience is the hearing, clairsentience is the feeling, claircognizance is the knowing. There's even clear smelling, clear tasting. Even if something's not in your mouth, sometimes people start to taste as if they're eating like grandma's cookies or something. Yeah. And that's a sign that maybe, their grandmother's spirit is in the room. And so this is just, again, more vocabulary and understanding to help us realize the channel in which we experience our intuition and connection to spirit, that I find that most people have 1 to 2 of those as the strongest. And again, the ability, though, to tap into all of them if they want to develop it.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't divide them because I have all of them. But visual is my main one that comes in because I'm a visual learner. If I meet you at a party, if I hear your name, I'm not going to remember it. If I see your name, I'm going to remember it. I'll remember you. I'll remember your face, but I'm not going to remember your name if I just hear it without seeing it. So I love name tags at parties. I wish everybody would wear a name tag at a party. So what I started doing, a little trick, was if I hear you, hear your name, I'm going to write out your name in my head. I'm going to see your name printed in my brain to try and remember what it is. So, that's a visual learner. And I find that when we have a certain way that we learn, which we all come in with that, a certain way that we learn, that usually is the main way that we get information from spirit. And then all the other clairs, like I said, that's above my pay grade. I just do them all, so I don't separate them. They all come in. Well, Sarah, please tell everybody how they can find you. Tell them about when your show is, how they can get it, and your website and all that stuff. How can they track you down?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to connect deeper with anyone who's interested or anyone who is over there raising their hand like, I'm an empath and resonating with some of this. So you can find me on social media at The Uncensored Empath, especially Instagram, where I usually hang out. Like I mentioned, the show is also called The Uncensored Empath Podcast. It's available on all platforms. So whether you listen to Apple Podcasts or you listen on Spotify or any other of those platforms, it's available. I also have a website. It's theuncensoredempath.com, where you can learn about the book that I published. It's called 21 Days of Healing. It's a workbook-style healing resource, and all the other offerings I have.
Wonderful. All right. Give everybody, one thing, we'll have all of that in the show notes too. So you guys, if you don't remember it, if you're a visual learner like I am and you don't remember it when you hear it, you'll be able to see it in the show notes, anywhere you download podcasts. And it's all over my social media too. We've been promoting that you were going to be on tonight. And so ask Julie Ryan on all the social media platforms and you'll be able to find the link to Sarah's show. Sarah, real quickly, we got a minute left. Tell everybody about your baby.
Oh my goodness. She has been such an activator for me in my own intuition and my own gifts. Her name is Emerson, and Julie and I were talking when she came onto my show about how my daughter is so connected to spirit, more specifically the spirit of one of my brothers. And she's 5 months old now, and it's just been such an activator for me in my life to become a mother and shed a lot of my old identity and step into this new one. It's amazing and exhausting at the same time.
And I feel like I'm her pseudo grandmother because you and I, like I said, we were trying to get together throughout your whole pregnancy. So that was crazy. All right, Sarah, thanks for joining us. Everybody stay with us. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get some callers on and see what their questions are. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Let's go to the phones, and our first caller is Renee. Hi, Renee.
Hey, Julie. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Really good. Thank you. Really good.
Terrific.
So
Please tell everybody where you're located.
Okay. Well, right now I'm in North Carolina, but I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and going back to Nashville tomorrow.
Wonderful.
So that's where I really live. Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you, I had some recent blood work and on my thyroid, and my TSH was normal, but I had some elevated antibodies. And so I just wanted you to see if you thought my thyroid was okay or, what you thought about that.
How are you feeling?
I feel fine. Actually, I really feel pretty good.
Okay. And are you on medication, Renee, for your thyroid?
No, I don't take any prescription medicine.
Okay. So they just were testing it just because it was just a routine blood test. You weren't having any symptoms.
Right.
Okay. All right.
No.
All right. So you know how this works. I raise my vibrational level to the level of spirit. I'm going to watch a laser beam come from my body here in Sweet Home, Alabama, head over to you in North Carolina. And then I'll have a hologram of you in my mind's eye, and I'll envision shooting energy from your feet up through the top of your head. And it'll be as if I'm looking at an X-ray or a CT scan or an MRI. And I'm just going to go right to your thyroid and we'll see what's going on. So here we go. And I'm really descriptive. Everybody, Renee knows this. Renee is one of my AAT grads. She took my class. And so she knows how to do all this stuff. But it's nice to call and get validation, right, with this. And so the reason why I'm so descriptive is because if you can envision it, it helps integrate the healing into your body. So, Renee, here we go. Comes my laser beam. Heading east, northeast to you. All right, got you. Shooting energy from your feet up through the top of your head. Okay, so thyroid's looking a little sludgy to me, and you've got a nodule on the left side. So there's a spiral of energy spinning inside your thyroid. That's gonna clean it out, get the sludge removed, and then the nodules on the upper left side. Imagine I've got a hot wire, like a cheese slicer. You know, that kind that's got a handle and a wire, and you can slice cheese really thinly. That's what I'm watching happen, and it's electrified. So it just slices that nodule right off, and it cuts and cauterizes at the same time. There is a device like that that's used in surgeries, and I've seen it used. So that's what I'm watching on the healing, and so that's doing that. All right. And then I'm shooting energy from your feet up through the top of your head. I think as long as you're not having any symptoms, you're good. Or did they ask you to come back and get retested here in a little bit?
They did, but I didn't, I just wanted see what you saw. And I mean, so do you think if there was a nodule there, that what you did just now can take care of that? And
so, are you on hormones? Are you on bioidentical hormones?
No.
Okay.
No.
Usually when the thyroid's messed up, it's worth checking out bioidentical hormones for your sex hormones because they all work together in a soup, Renee, and there may be something going on with that. So before anybody puts you on thyroid medication, I would get your hormones tested by somebody who's a specialist on the bioidentical. You know, the bioidentical are the hormones that match what our body makes when we're young and fertile. And the synthetic hormones have extra molecules added to their formulas so they can be patented. Those are the ones you want to stay away from. If at all possible, you want to do the bioidentical. So I would get that checked out. Okay. And a good way to find a doctor. A good way to find a doctor, Renee, is to call a compounding pharmacy in your area and just ask who's prescribing bioidentical hormones. And there's several of them in Nashville, so you'll find them. Right.
Okay, but so if you worked on that nodule, is that gone now? So I don't need to worry about that.
You know, as well as anybody, the healings energetically integrate into your body, and that can happen instantly. It can take days, weeks, months. It may need some kind of complementary care, but certainly it's always your spirit's prerogative to do with the healing or not, whatever it wants, based on what it wants to explore. So, no, it's not a guarantee, but the fact that we've worked on it is going to help you heal it. But I don't think it's causing any problem. Especially if you're not having any symptoms. Pretty good. Yeah. And didn't you just come back from a long trip?
Well, we were just gone a week and, to see our little friend Emma, and she's doing great over there. And it was just so nice to get away from American news and politics and COVID and vaccines. I mean, didn't hear one thing about it for a week being over there. It was a breath of fresh air.
Well, to everybody where over there is.
Oh, sorry, Ireland. And my daughter moved to Dublin.
She was in Ireland. So, that's going to wear out your thyroid and the rest of your body going to Ireland and back in a week. So, well, you're good.
True. And
okay, check into the hormones.
Thank you, Julie.
All righty. Thanks for calling. You bet. All right, everybody, time for another quick break. When we come back, we'll get more callers on. Stay with us. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Our next caller is Rose. Hi, Rose.
Hello. How are you?
Hello. I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm calling from Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, terrific.
And I just have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday, my niece works at a pet store, and yesterday the dog just, without provocation from my niece, a dog just bit her on the thigh.
No.
And I was just wondering if you can tell or sense what the dog was thinking or why.
Yeah. What kind of dog was it?
It was a pit bull.
A baby or probably a puppy?
No, I don't think it was a puppy.
Okay. He was afraid. The dog was afraid. That's why dogs bite, because they're afraid. Yeah. So he was afraid of something. And was she walking him, or what was happening? Was she cleaning out his cage, or what was going on?
No. She was checking out the customer, and they were just talking. And the customer was even shocked that the dog did that. He just lunged at her. And she wasn't even doing anything, to provoke him or anything.
So it was the customer's dog?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. And he was just really remorseful, and they had to take the dog, of course, away. And my niece just feels awful about it, but there was no, they checked everything to see if she might have done anything, but her and the customer were just talking. Then all of a sudden, he just lunged and bit her.
What I'm getting is it was a sound. It was a sound related thing. Dogs' hearing is so acute. It's so strong that they can hear very low tones and things. And I get that there was something with the checkout procedure. I don't know, but it had something to do with a sound that he heard that was coming from your niece. Maybe the equipment she was working on or something along those lines. It was something to do with a sound.
Oh, okay.
That he heard.
Sound? Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
Is she okay? Did she have to get stitches?
She did, on her thigh. We're just concerned about any infection or because she's on blood thinners. So that, we're just worried about any blood clots or any infection that might set in. So we're just concerned for her. Well, I am, just worried about her. And she does, she does have lupus too, so that we're just afraid it might trigger, a flare up also with this trauma that she just got. So
well, hopefully not. If she's feeling okay today, I would think she's got a good chance of getting through it unscathed. So I hope she feels better. And I really believe there was something to do with the sound. You know how when you're checking out, there are sounds coming, maybe we don't hear them as humans from the machine that's transmitting credit cards or if there's cash, there was some kind of a sound that triggered that dog. That didn't have anything to do with your niece, except she was there with the sound. So I hope that helps. I hope she feels better real soon and heals quickly. Yeah. Thanks, Rose. Thanks for calling.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye.
Let's go to Victoria next. Hi, Victoria.
Hi. Let me take you off speaker. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing really, really well. You had mentioned to have me call in, so I thought I'm going to take a stab at this.
Terrific. Please tell everybody where you're located.
I'm in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Okay. Terrific. You got a question for me?
I do. My son chose to cross over September 8th, 2019.
Oh, I'm
and
so
it was a very, very violent death. And I found him, and I just wondered if there was anything I could have done to. There was his second attempt, and it was completed. I just miss him so much. He's like my little son soulmate.
Yeah. What's his name, Victoria?
His name's Patrick.
Patrick. And how old was Patrick?
29.
Okay. All right. Would you like to talk to him? You want to ask him a couple of questions?
Sure.
Okay. All right. He's standing right next to you to your right. No, there isn't anything you could have done. He's saying, Mom, no way. There's nothing you could have done. And the other thing I want to say, Victoria, in my book, we all decide where we go, when we go, how we go, who's with us when we go or not, and all the circumstances surrounding our death. When we exit and go back to heaven, everybody goes to heaven. All dogs go to heaven, all people go to heaven too. So really, all death is a form of suicide. It's a different way of looking at it. But if, in fact, our spirits all decide, then really every form of death is a suicide. And it's really not death, it's a transition. But I wanted to tell you that because hopefully that will help comfort you some. I truly believe that. So
I truly believe that too. So you said I could ask him a question?
Yeah. Question for Patrick.
Does he have a couple of our puppies with him?
He says he has all dogs that he's ever had in all of his lifetimes with them. Was he a dog lover?
Yes, but he was trying to convince me to get a cat right before he passed. And I'm like, we have 4 dogs.
Yeah.
One just recently passed. So I was just wondering if Morpheus and Neil were up there with him.
Absolutely.
Oh,
He's got like this, he looks like Cesar, the dog whisperer, on the Planet Channel. He's got this big group of dogs around him. Yeah. All kinds of dogs.
If I could ask him one more question, I know it's one question. I'm so sorry. So I have a restraining order against his middle brother. Mm-hmm. I have 3 boys. And I'm just wondering if he's watching over Ryan, because Ryan's tried to cross over many, many times.
Wow. Does Ryan have a drug problem?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting, that Ryan has a drug problem. And so is he watching over him? Yes. If he does, it will be a good thing for him right now while he's still in the throes of the addiction thing, because it'll be his way of saying, okay, I've experienced this enough and it's time for me to go.
I understand that.
Kind of thing. Yeah. So that's what he's saying. He's saying he's around him all the time. He's saying that the drug problem is really severe. And he loves you. He loves the family. And he just feels like he's just hasn't been able to figure this out yet with the addiction stuff.
Ryan loves us, or Patrick loves us?
Both. Patrick does too, but Ryan does too. But he's saying Ryan loves you guys, but he just hasn't been able to figure out the addiction thing.
Yeah, Ryan told me that I murdered his brother, and that it's very hard to hear something like that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Okay. Well, you can talk you can talk to Patrick anytime you want. Just ask him a question, and then the first thing that comes in your head within a second, as fast as you can snap your fingers, is him answering you. So I'm sure you talk to him now
all the time.
Yeah, good.
All the time I talk to him. Thank you so much, Julie.
You're so welcome.
Bye-bye.
Have you read Angelic Attendance yet? My book?
No, I haven't.
Okay, get a copy of it. If you go to AskJulieRyan.com, just go to the books tab. You can get it anywhere books are sold. But if you read that or download the audio book, Victoria, it's going to give you so much comfort. And it's going to tell you about how he was surrounded by angels and deceased loved ones and the spirits of deceased pets. I think it's really going to bring you some comfort. So I highly recommend
so
that.
Much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, you made my year. Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
You're welcome. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, gosh, I can't even imagine. You guys, can you imagine going through that with a child? I mean, it's bad enough when you lose a parent or a sibling, but holy mackerel. Okay, let's go to Melissa next. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Melissa. Are you there? Got to get off mute. Hello. Okay, I guess you're not. I could start singing, but let's try Tracy. Hi, Tracy.
Hey, Julie, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, how do you follow that one up? How do you follow up Victoria?
I know. I'm so sorry.
To her. Love and strength to her.
Yeah, I talked to a group called Helping Parents Heal once a quarter, and oh my God, the stories they'll just tear your heart right out. So, Tracy, I'm going to hold you over for the break. I hear my music. Blake the Wizard behind the curtains playing my music, so I got to take a quick break. So stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back, and we'll see what Miss Tracy has to ask. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. Before the break, we were talking with Tracy. Tracy, tell everybody where you're located, please.
Raleigh, North Carolina.
North Carolina girls tonight.
Yeah.
All righty.
Yeah.
Well, you got a quick question for me?
I do. My son is in Franklin, Tennessee, and he injured his shoulder.
Oh.
And he went to the doctor on Monday. Yeah, he went to the doctor on Monday, and then they said, well, let's get that further checked out. So, that's never a good thing. So he's scheduled for an MRI on Friday, and he's a drummer, avid. And I told him, and even the doctor said, you need to hang those sticks up for a little bit. So he's been very good keeping it in his sling, but it's still feeling really odd. He said, I think I did something good to it. So I did call him in advance, and during the commercial break, I let him know that we'd be on next. I did get his permission, but you go do your thing and verify that I did that properly. And once again, he's in Franklin, Tennessee, and his name is Nicholas.
Nicholas. I hope he's going to the Bone and Joint guys. I lived in Brentwood, right above Franklin. And is he going to the Bone and Joint clinic? Yep. They're the guys.
He is.
They're the guy.
Yeah.
And Bone and Joint.
With,
go ahead.
I forget, Byram on Monday.
Okay. Well, the Bone and Joint guys helped me test prototypes of my inventions because I'm an inventor of orthopedic surgery devices that are sold throughout the world. So the Bone and Joint guys,
to you and you're like, amazing.
They're the best. They're the best.
Okay,
and
good.
And one of my devices, I got to tell you, is a big mat used in shoulder surgery and knee and hip when they scope the knee and hip. And a funny, quick story. It's a big mat that collects the fluid from the surgery and then evacuates it and keeps the floor dry. And one of their Bone and Joint techs during the prototype testing, he looked at me and goes, lady, this is one big ass suction system. You need to call this thing the Bass. And so I did. And I trademarked it. And then it was on the shipping labels. And it came from the Bone and Joint orthotech. He named the product. So it's the Bass. Isn't that hilarious?
Well, they have big ass fans. And that's the thing.
That's right. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. So and the funny thing is, I had to put big ass suction system on the shipping labels because to have a trademark work, it's got to be shipped across interstate lines, across state lines. And so I had a hospital, I think it was in Wisconsin, a Catholic hospital, call me one time, and the purchasing manager said, "Do you think that's appropriate to send into a Catholic hospital?" And I said, "Well, I think it's funny." And he said, "Well, do you think it's appropriate?" And I said, "Well, what do you got, Sister Mary Holy Water unpacking boxes and receiving or what?" And he started laughing and he said, "We have your label on all of the bulletin boards in our purchasing department. I just needed to talk to the person who came up with that." I said, "Well, there you go." So it was funny. So okay, let me get Nicholas on my radar. It's a fun aside, but yeah, I'm glad he's at Bone and Joint. That's good. They're really good.
Yes.
It's not very often I plug a. Yeah, he did good. Yeah. It's not very often that I plug a doctor group, but these guys are special to me. All right. So got him.
Feel so much better. Being so far away from him, I never know if I'm doing the right thing, not being on the ground. So thank you.
Yeah. So what do they think? Do they think he's got a torn meniscus? Or not a meniscus, a torn rotator cuff? Wrong body part, sorry.
Rotator cuff. Yep.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
That's what I'm seeing. So I'm watching it get stitched, and then I'm putting a little bit of stem cell energy on there, and that'll help it heal. There's a little tiny vortex spinning above the tear, and he did a pretty good job on it. What was he doing? Was he playing football or something?
Yeah, let's call it football.
Yeah.
Let's call it football.
Yeah. So he
was in a mosh pit and landed on Nicholas's shoulder. And he said, as Mom, I went to grab it and it popped back into place. I've never known what it would feel like, but I know I dislocated my shoulder.
Yeah.
And just by grabbing it, he said it was back into place.
Yeah. And he tore his rotator cuff too. So what are they talking about? Taking him into surgery to fix it?
There's MRI on this Friday, tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And then Dr. Byram on Monday to discuss the results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They'll get him back they'll get him back in action quickly. But if it was my son, I'd be there to, if they decide they're going to do surgery. go up and help if you can. Go up and help take care of them because it's painful when they do that surgery, but it'll heal quickly, and especially now since there's an energetic healing on it. So let me see if there's anything else. I'm tightening up the ligaments and stuff. They get kind of loose when the shoulder gets dislocated. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm tightening those up just so that'll help. Because sometimes when somebody's shoulder dislocates, it'll continue to dislocate throughout their life. And we don't want that. How old is he?
22.
Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So got that going on. Can you go be there with him if he has the surgery?
Of course.
Yeah. And they'll do it outpatient. They won't keep him. They'll do it outpatient. And they have a great surgery center there. That's wonderful. So he'll be in really good hands. And sometimes they'll put him in not a cast, but a sling where they hold the arm perpendicular to their body.
I actually saw that. I was in a doctor's office visit with my daughter, and I just so happened to look out the window, which I normally don't. She's on the 3rd floor, and I just so happened to look down, and I saw a gentleman in that sling with the perpendicular, and I sent it to Nicholas. I go, you better keep that sling on or else you're going to look like this guy. He goes, ouch. And I knew that was a sign because I never looked out the window, never looked down, been in that office for 5 years. And I said, okay, that's my future. That's his future. So
yeah, but he'll recover fast, and they'll get him in physical therapy, and he'll do great. He'll do great. But you go be with him.
Well, thank you.
In Franklin.
I will.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can you take time off work to go be with him?
I'm a full-time working mother. So yes.
Perfect. Good.
I can.
Good. And certainly there are good surgeons in North Carolina as well. But with him being with the bone and joint guys, you know what? I'm going to let them know that I'm plugging them all over the world here tonight on the show.
Well, thank you. Good. That makes me feel better because, I'm just like I felt like I was pulling names out of a hat, but
no. You're good.
Comfort from Google. So
you're good. No coincidences in life. What kind of connection is that? That's a huge connection. So that's a sign. All righty. Well, good luck. Good luck to Nicholas and to his mama. All righty. Stay with us, everybody. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll get more callers on. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. Welcome back, everybody. We do this show every Thursday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and 5 Pacific. And the call-in number is 712-775-7035. Access code 483-620#. And this information is available on my website, AskJulieRyan.com, and anywhere you download podcasts, because it's in the show notes as well. Speaking of downloading, you can download the show anywhere you get your podcasts, and we're also on YouTube and Alexa. Please remember to subscribe and leave a review at ratethispodcast.com/Julie, ratethispodcast.com/Julie. And when you do, you're entered into a drawing to win a free session with me, valued at a couple $100. And it's an hour. And, I was talking with Sarah, our first guest, about how I'm a buffet of psychicness. So we can talk about your deceased loved ones. We can do a medical scan. We can do a pet scan. We can do past life stuff. We can talk to your spirit guides, your angels, whatever time allows. Normally, when I talk to somebody, we cover a whole bunch of different topics. And I talk to people all day, and it's a blast. So ratethispodcast.com/Julie. Call-in details can also be found on Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. And we post a reminder the day of the show. Hey, remember, call in, and all the numbers and everything. So you can do that. While you're on my website, AskJulieRyan.com, be sure to sign up for my weekly newsletter. It's a question somebody has submitted online, and then I answer it. And then you can also schedule an appointment with me when you're on AskJulieRyan.com. I'm scheduled out for a couple of months. get on my calendar whenever you can, and then check periodically the reschedule button. And then what will happen is it will show you people that have rescheduled. And I keep hearing somebody, so I'm trying to see if I need to mute somebody. Maybe not. I don't know. So Blake, Blake's my man, you guys. Everybody, give a hand to Blake. He's my producer. He's the wizard behind the curtain. Blake, check and see if somebody's not on mute for me, because I keep hearing that. Okay, so scheduled appointment with me. Get on my calendar. When you think of it, click the reschedule button on your confirmation email, and it will show you dates and times of people that have rescheduled. It happens every week. Sometimes you can get in the next day. So it happens all the time. Class, angelic attendant training, July, I believe, has 3 or 4 spots left, July of next year. Finishing up October, and it's just been amazing. Amazing. We did the medical intuitive stuff last Saturday, and all 12 people in the class all could do it, and they were all flabbergasted. So it's really easy. It's just a matter of a transfer of energy from me to you guys. So if you're thinking of it, go ahead and sign up for it, because July's are almost full for next summer. Okay, this week we got a question from Joanne, and Joanne lives in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and she asked, "Dear Julie, I really enjoy reading the questions people submit to you and your answers back to them. I learn a lot from reading the Q&As and appreciate your making them available. For years, I've worked with a woman named Lori who calls herself a light worker. Lori says she's been instructed to shut down all her channels and stop all Reiki treatments due to an overabundance of negative energy on Earth. She says that we are at a very dark time in history and feels she must protect herself from negative energy by closing off all of her portals. She also told me to stop giving myself Reiki treatments. When she talks about all this negativity, I sometimes come away feeling let down after treatments. I would love your input on this. Do your spirits tell you that this is a time that we need to be more diligent about dark forces? You seem to be moving right along with everything. I want to keep seeing Lori, but I'd like to come away from our sessions feeling more lighthearted. I liked giving myself the Reiki treatments, but because of her warning, I've stopped. Is it really unsafe for me? Thanks, Joanne." And here's my response. Hi, Joanne. I appreciate your comments about enjoying and learning from my blog Q&A each week. Regarding negative energy and dark forces on Earth, I'm not seeing or experiencing any of that. In fact, as you may already know, I don't believe in evil spirits. All spirits are pure love. You guys hear me talk about the only thing a spirit can do is send love. The only thing the sun can do is shine. Spirits, all they can do is send love. So evil spirits have been propagated over the ages by religions and cultures to control the masses, right? What controls people more than anything? We're living in it right now. Fear. It controls people. So I went back to say, what the world has experienced is a continual creative process. When we know what we don't want, it helps us create what we do want. My mentor, Susan Austin Crumpton, always says, trust the chaos. Having said all that, the world is constantly going through some form of restructuring as it creates new ideas, inventions, processes, etc. It's just now we hear about it more. The 24/7 news cycle spreads the most dramatic information instantly around the globe, and that makes it seem like the world is coming apart. If we had today's communication systems in place back during the Ice Age, the Crusades, or the Black Plague, when 2/3 of Europe died, we'd most likely feel the same discontent and fear. So, do Reiki on yourself and others, and find an energy healer like me who makes you feel good. When we're in alignment with our spirit, we feel good. Anything else is based in fear, and unless it's going to physically hurt or kill us within the next couple of minutes, that's the 2-minute rule that I talk about all the time, it's an irrational and therefore false fear. So when we're in fear, we're out of alignment with our spirit because our spirit's pure love. And when you feel like that, you ask, is this going to kill me in the next 2 minutes? If it is, get out of the road before the bus runs you over. That's a rational fear. Everything else is false. And what we need to do when we're feeling really out of sorts about what's happening in the world, come back to the moment. Stay in the moment. Do you have enough air to breathe? Do you have enough water to drink? Do you have shelter? Do you have a home you live in? Do you have food to eat? Do you have a car? Are you able to walk? Do you have loved ones around you? All this stuff is all, we live in an abundant universe. The stuff that we hear on the news and the stuff that we see is designed to elicit fear. Because when people are in fear, they do things that maybe they wouldn't otherwise do. They're controllable. So bring it back down to the moment. Are you okay right now? Are you going to get seriously injured or killed in the next 2 minutes? If not, that fear is a false fear. And you're using your intuition to torture yourself. And there's no need. So thanks so much for that question. I thought that was a great question. Okay, let's go back to the phones. And our next caller is Mary. So let me find Mary. Here she is. Hi, Mary.
Hi. So it's actually Shawnee.
Hi, Shawnee.
I called in not too long ago. I'm living up in Sioux Falls. I had called about my fiance, Eric. I don't know if you remember.
Refresh my memory. I lived in Sioux Falls, too. God, I have had 2 callers tonight in places where I live.
We talked about that.
I know. Yeah. That was my first job out of school.
So he had oh, that's awesome. So he had a desmoid tumor in his abdomen, and you had encapsulated it and did some kind of not rewiring, but the DNA mutation. You took care of that, and he has since had the surgery to remove it, and everything went really well. He's been healing. The scars for the incision is looking really good. So part of the tumor was attached to his small intestine and his colon. So they had to remove parts of both of those and kind of restructure that. And since then, he's just had a lot of diarrhea. And he's had a checkup today with physicians who helped with the surgery. And they said, it's a little bit like, it's normal, but they hoped he would have been at a different, getting past that diarrhea stage as his colon was starting to work and everything. So I wondered if you could kind of help with that healing process. And
Sure. Remind me of his name, Shawnee.
Eric.
Okay.
Eric.
All right. Did he have the surgery in McKinnon or Sioux Valley Hospital?
McKinnon.
They were both
Amira
customers.
McKinnon. I guess it's called Amira now.
Yeah. They were both my hospitals. I was in them every couple times a week, every week. So I know them. Okay. So what I'm doing is I've got Eric on my radar. What I'm watching happen is I'm watching stem cell energy get put in his colon, and it's like his colon is expanded and it's shrinking. It's getting tighter. So those, I don't remember what they're called. They had them when I was a kid. They probably still do. And you put your 2 fingers in them, and then the more you try and pull your finger out, the tighter it would get. It was like a little tube thing. Yeah. I forget what they were called, but that's what it reminded me of, was the stem cell energy. And there's a vortex spinning above his abdomen, and that's tightening up his colon. So hopefully that will help. Kind of like, you need a mold there to help tighten things so that they come out not loose.
Be able to absorb the water now.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll help. I hope he feels better. Thanks for calling. Hope he's doing better. Okay, everybody, time for another quick break. When we come back, we'll see who's next. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show, so stay with us. Welcome back. Our next caller is Michaela. Hi, Michaela.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I am calling. I'm good. I am calling from St. George, Utah. And I am calling with an issue I've been having for probably about maybe 2 months, maybe a month and a half. I have some crazy vertigo, started with ringing in the ears, and then it moved into vertigo and then some nausea from the vertigo. I've seen ear, throat, nose, chiropractor, vestibular specialist to reset my crystals. And it just persists. Sometimes it's a little bit worse. Sometimes I'm a little bit more dizzy. So I didn't know if it was just something that would go away over time or if I just need to keep going back to the vestibular person. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay, so they did the Epley maneuver on you to get the crystals in your ears back in position.
Yes, they put me in the machine and the goggles and it did several different maneuvers based on where they were stuck. And I had 2 different appointments with that and it didn't help. Mm-hmm. And then they wanted me to come back and I kind of was just like, seems like I'm just, wasting my money. But if you thought maybe I should just keep going back and that might help, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me get you on my radar. Let's see what's going on. I'm so sorry you're going through that. Okay. I know it's just obnoxious. I talk to people. I know. I talk to people every week that have it, and it seems to be more prevalent. I don't know what the heck's going on with that, but let me get you on my radar. In St. George, I haven't been there yet, but I understand it's beautiful.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah. Zion National Park, right? National Forest or something?
That's, yep. Beautiful.
Yeah. All right. It's on my bucket list. Okay, got you. Shooting in. So I'm in your left ear. I'm watching the Epley maneuver happen, getting those crystals back in. And this is interesting. I haven't seen this before. I'm watching a little netting, kind of like if you go to Michael's craft store and you buy those seashells that are in the netting, you'll get a bunch of seashells and they'll have packages of them in kind of a netting that you cut to get them out of the bag. So I'm watching this really fine netting, Michaela, and it's putting the crystals together. It's holding them. What's happening, what looks like to me is you got some renegade crystals that are getting out of a line, getting out of where they're supposed to be and causing problems. So I've done this tens of thousands of times. I've never seen those crystals get put in netting. Oftentimes I'll see more advanced healings, and then once it comes in, then I'll see it with other people. So I expect I'm going to see this again. This is very cool. Imagine a netting that's as soft as the netting like on those seashells. Or do you have a lingerie bag that you put socks and stuff in so they don't get lost in the washing machine in the dryer? I have those. It reminds me of that.
No, but that's genius. I don't know why I haven't heard about that.
Oh, yeah. Those like workout socks, those footy things. Oh, my God. They always get lost. Where do they go? Where do they go when they're in your dryer?
Oh, right. Exactly.
I don't understand. So I put them in one of those little lingerie bags. You can get them at Target or any place. They're great. And they have a zipper on them and it keeps them together. Cool. Yeah. You didn't call to get that tip, but it's just an extra. It's an extra part of the service.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
So got that. All right. That's your left ear. Did you have an ear infection as a kid, maybe more than one, where you were on antibiotics? You may not remember it. You may have had one as a baby. You've got a keloid scar on your eardrum, on your left ear. And the keloid's when the scar doesn't heal flat. It's a little raised. And it can mess up the reverb, the vibration of the eardrum. So I'm excising that using stem cell energy. It's spirit working through me and with me. You know that drill. And and stem cell energy is coming in. It's redoing your eardrum. And then I'm watching your eardrum get pulled in different directions to get tested. I watch musical notes and energy in the form of sound waves bounce off your ear, and then it'll get pulled like in the 2 o'clock position and then in the 3 o'clock position, and and that kind of thing. It reminds me of the membrane on the top of a pair of bongo drums. How tightly that membrane is pulled is going to determine the tone of the drums. And so that's what I'm watching happen. All right. I'm tunneling from the outside in of your left ear in your eustachian tube. Where have you been exposed to mold? I know you're in the high desert, but you can still have mold. Have you had a water leak or?
Probably several times. I lived in South Carolina. I was in Alabama where there was mold. I had black mold in my home in Las Vegas that we discovered. Yeah. So at numerous places.
Okay. So that's the root cause of this. If you go on YouTube, Michaela, and you Google Dr. Neil Nathan, Nathan, MD, he wrote a book called Toxic. In less than an hour, you can watch an interview of him. You'll get the whole gist of how to detox on the mold. I'm clearing it out of your eustachian tubes. Consider doing an appointment with me. We can do a deep dive and really get this out. I'm in your right eustachian tube now, getting the mold removed there. You've got pieces of mold. Looks like pieces of moss in your eustachian tubes. So that's what's going on. That's the root cause of this.
Okay.
All right. And right ear looks okay. Those crystals are okay. It's the left ear crystals that are causing problems. So hopefully that'll help some.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go back.
So you said Dr. Nathan?
Neil Nathan, MD. He's an expert on mold. Ann Shippey is another one that is an expert on mold. She's in Austin, Texas. Dr. Nathan's in San Diego, but it doesn't matter. I mean, you can read their stuff anywhere. Okay. And they'll give you some golden nuggets of information to help. I would go back and get another Epley maneuver done. I think that'll help. So hope you feel better. Thanks for calling.
So much.
All righty, everybody. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll see who's next. Stay with us. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. Welcome back. Let's go to the phones again. And our next caller's Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Julie. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Well, I've been better. I recently have been diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh.
And I loved having Sarah on because I could resonate with her. My sister passed breast cancer several years ago, and I almost feel like she's guiding me through this journey. I was diagnosed with ductal carcinoma in situ, which was non-invasive, which was good news until I had my surgery. And they discovered that it was actually invasive, but it was very small. It was only 6 millimeters, but my cancer was triple negative. It did not go into my lymph nodes, so that was great. But because it was triple negative, now I have this cancer in my bloodstream. And they have suggested chemotherapy, which I have a question about that. If I need to do that, do I have this cancer roaming in my body, this triple negative cancer? And most recently, after my double mastectomy, I just had cellulitis in my left breast. And on Monday, I had a total reconstruction of my left breast because I had this bacteria in my left breast. So my left breast is now healing from that and is retaining a lot of fluid. So I guess my question is my left breast going to be okay? And do I have cancer in my body? And should I do chemotherapy? That's a lot.
Wow, girl, I'm so sorry. You've been through a lot. My goodness. Oh, goodness. Okay. And super extra scary just because of what you went through with your sister, too. I know. I can only imagine that, it just ramps it up several notches. Where are you located, Lisa?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay. All right. I'm going to connect into you, and then we'll see what's going on. When did you have the mastectomy? You said you had the reconstruction last week.
I had the mastectomy September 23rd, and on Monday I had a reconstruct on the left breast.
Okay. All right. Because that's where the energy went, was your left breast first. And that would make sense because that's the one that's the most recently worked on. So I'm looking at that. So you're on antibiotics still with that?
I am on antibiotics. Yes. They sent for a culture. Yeah.
When I see antibiotic energy, what it looks like, Lisa, is it looks like a hot pink color, like a fuchsia color, more pink than purple. And so what I'm watching happen is I'm watching that intensify. If it doesn't work, talk to them about a gram-positive antibiotic. Be sure that they've got a broad spectrum with you, because it may be that you were on gram-negative and you needed to be on gram-positive. So you want to be on an antibiotic that's going to cover both. I'm getting that there's something to do with the gram-positive, gram-negative thing. So ask them about that, and you can probably look that up with the antibiotic that you're on. But there's really intense antibiotic energy happening right now there. What I want to do is I want to do a lymph cleanse on you. Lymph fluid, Lisa, looks to me like, are you old enough to remember what a lava lamp looks like? The globby.
No, yeah.
The globby stuff that's in the middle of a lava lamp. And those of you that are younger that don't know what a lava lamp is, look it up online and you'll see what I'm talking about. And it's kind of an amber color. So I'm flushing that.
Comeback.
What's that?
I think there was a comeback on lava lamps even.
Maybe. I think they were big in the 60s when we were babies. So anyways. So that's, I'm getting those. What happens is when there's a lymph flush, what I see, and my visuals are wild, and they're just an analogy so that we can sort of understand what's going on from our human perspective for this energetic healing that's happening. So I'm watching the cancer cells go out the bottom of your feet, like if there's a drain that's opened. Reminds me of those old-fashioned bathtubs, the clawfoot bathtubs where there's a stopper in it. You remove the stopper and there's like a little hole at the bottom. Those are going out. The lymph is coming back up. So it's cleaning out the cells. We all have cancer cells. This is just doing it because of what you've got going on. So doing that. Let's do a DNA healing on you now. The DNA gets mutated, usually from some environmental toxins that we're exposed to, Lisa. And so I see 7 strands of DNA that have come out of an X chromosome for you. DNA is the recipe that tells the cells how to behave. And it's comprised of 4 nucleic acids. And they're represented by 4 letters, A, T, C, G. A strand can have 100,000 letters. It can have 1 billion letters. I'm watching the letters get resequenced. Imagine playing Scrabble in warp speed. That's what I'm watching happen. The letters are getting up and moved over. When the strand looks like a piece of paper that you'd see inside a fortune cookie with a fortune written on it. When it's resequenced back to a normal recipe, it snaps back in to the X chromosome. Girls have 2 X's, boys have an X and a Y. So everybody has an X chromosome. So first 2 strands have gone back in. 3 through 7 are reconfiguring. This works really well because I work with a lot of people dealing with cancer, and we stay 3 steps ahead of the mutation with this DNA healing. So strands 3, 4, 5 are back in, 6 and 7 our resequencing. I would love to have you for a whole hour on a private session so that we can do a really deep dive on you and see what we need to do. As far as the chemo goes, you're going to have to decide that with your doctor. But what you can do is you can ask, is it in my best interest to finish the sentence? You'll get a thought that'll come in within a second, and that will help give you guidance. So follow what your doctors are saying, get second opinions if it doesn't sound right, if it doesn't feel right. Follow your gut on that and make a decision based on your gut and the information you're getting from your doctors, and then do your own research as well. So that's what I can tell you on that.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
And
all right.
May I ask one real quick question? Is my sister involved in any of this?
Absolutely. She's with you. Absolutely. She's guiding you through the whole thing. Yes. Yep. She's with you. Talk to her. You've heard me say you can talk to anybody, any spirit that's attached to a body, any spirit that's not attached to a body, that's in pure non-physical. Ask them something. They're going to respond within a second, as fast as you can snap your fingers. That's going to be them. That's going to be her talking to you. If you think about it for more than a couple of seconds, that's going to be your brain talking to you. So, yeah, you can ask her for guidance too. Okay. All right. Well, good luck.
Julie, thank you very much.
You are so welcome. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye. Okay, let's go to Lorraine next. Hi, Lorraine.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Lorraine.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can. Yes. Where are you located?
Wonderful.
Yeah, where are you located?
I'm in Chicago.
Okay, terrific.
I'm in Chicago.
Wonderful. You got a question for me?
My dog Rufus passed away on September 9th.
Oh.
We found out 2 days later that he had cancer. He had lost his voice. It was a laryngeal paralysis. Specialty vets thought he had degenerative spinal myelopathy, but I knew that he didn't. It was something that was invasive in his body. And question, I haven't been able to stop crying.
No.
He loved me, and he was a wonderful big German Shepherd, and I was his second mom. And I'm sure that God connected us because I was his perfect second mom. And I would just, yes, I would like to know, he went downhill on the last 2 weeks so quickly. And then on his last night, he literally dragged himself from the kitchen all the way to the back of the house to my bedroom. And he died laying on the floor right next to where I was sleeping.
Yeah.
And I want to know that he knew that I loved him, that he wasn't in great pain.
Okay, Lorraine, I'm going to have to hold you over for the break. I'm going to have to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get you back on. Stay with us, everybody. My God, what a heart-wrenching story about Rufus. I love his name. Stay with us, everybody. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking with Lorraine. Lorraine, you're breaking my heart along with yours, but I talked to Rufus over the break. So here's the scoop. Yes, he knows you loved him. Yes, he knows you still love him. He wants you. He's around you all the time. He said you think you hear him. You think you feel him. You even through the corner of your eye, you think you've seen him. And all of that is correct. You are seeing, hearing, and feeling him. So his spirit's around you. But this is a riot. This is what he told me. He wants you to get a white German Shepherd. And if it's a girl, he wants you to name it Crystal. And if it's a boy, he wants you, Crystal with a C. And if it's a boy, he wants you to name it Crystal with a K and call the boy dog Chris, but spell it Krys, which is hilarious. I've never had a dog. A white German Shepherd is what he's saying.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's very specific. He wants you to get a white German Shepherd. He said you don't have to get a puppy if you don't want to go through the puppy thing, but a white German Shepherd, he said, when you look for it, the German Shepherd's going to show up and it's going to be white. And he wants you to name it Crystal, whether it's a boy or a girl. Just make it more, manly manish if it's a boy.
Yes.
So there you go.
Well, I will do that. I'm just.
Send me a picture. Send me a picture when you get the white German Shepherd, and I'll post it on my social media for everybody that's listened. So they'll love that. All righty. Thanks for calling. All right. Let us know when you get the white. Let us know when you get Crystal. Okay. Bye. Bye, Lorraine. Let's go to Danielle next. Hi, Danielle.
Hey, Julie.
How you doing, girl?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, great.
Yep.
So we had a chat yesterday, but we didn't get to the one other thing I really wanted to ask you about. I've had 4 concussions in my life, 2 that ended me in the hospital being unconscious, and the last one was about 4.5 years ago. So I was wondering if you could scan my brain and heal any of the stuff that's given me kind of brain fog or tripping over my tongue and not being able to be as articulate as I once was.
Absolutely. Please tell everybody where you're located.
I am in Chesapeake, Virginia.
Okay, so I got you on my radar, and I'm looking for scar tissue. Yeah, you got scar tissue. Scar tissue, brain matter, first of all, Danielle, looks like thick cooked oatmeal to me. Scar tissue in the brain looks like chicken cartilage, the kind that you'd see in a chicken breast with the bones still in. So I'm scooping the scar tissue out. Stem cell energy is coming in. That's going to regenerate the brain matter. The reason why we want to remove scar tissue when we see it, Danielle, is because it can occlude neural pathways in the brain. And neural pathways look like the laser beams as part of a security system in a museum that crisscrosses the floor, and it guards the paintings and the statuary and the artifacts and stuff like that. So I'm watching new brain matter get generated. It's probably going to raise your IQ a few points. So, prepare yourself.
Yeah, you're back to normal then.
And your family for that. And
maybe my Russian will come back.
Yeah. So while that's reconfiguring, I'm removing the brain fog in front of your frontal lobes. Did we talk about that yesterday? I don't remember.
No, we didn't. We didn't get to it.
It looks like a cloud of grayish material. When I'm in and out of different realities, I don't remember what we do in healings. I certainly remember you, and I remember talking to people, but I don't remember what we did in the healings because I'm in and out of different realities. Right. And I talk to thousands of people a year. And so it doesn't go in my memory just because I'm in and out of different realities. Plus, I think there's a component that I talk to lots of people. But I laugh. I say, It's really convenient because I don't have to worry about a HIPAA violation because I don't remember. I don't need to worry about disclosing anything confidential because I just don't really remember it. But I digress. The brain fog looks like a cloud of grayish fog in front of your frontal lobes. Are you on medication?
None.
No medication. Supplements?
No medications at all. Nothing.
All right. No supplements, no like vitamins or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Because there's something that you're getting in your food supply then, because there's an oily ring around the cloud of the brain fog, Danielle. And imagine if you took a Q-tip and you dipped it in baby oil and you ran it around the perimeter of the brain fog. That's what it looks like. And it's some kind of medicine or supplement or something. It could be in the food supply, depending on what you're eating and drinking. But I'm seeing it. So I've removed it. That's how I can always tell if somebody's taken medication. So I'm doing that. All right. Stem cell energy is still winding your brain.
Maybe it's leftover medications from the surgery we discussed.
It probably is. That's probably exactly what it is. Yeah. So it's, like I said, it's like you take a Q-tip and you dip it in baby oil and then you run it around the perimeter of this cloud that's in front of your frontal lobes. So I'm seeing that. Okay. Stem cell energy is regenerated brain matter. Neural pathways are lit up. You know, your IQ's gone up a few points. So hopefully that'll help.
Watch out, world.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
You know, go analyze some stocks or something and make a fortune. And then you can give the rest of us your tips. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Thanks, Danielle.
All right. Thanks, Julie.
You bet. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. That's about it for this week. Thank you so much to everybody that called in. I didn't get to a lot of you, so please call back next week and I'll do my best to get you on. Let me know that I didn't get you on this week. To everybody listening, thank you for listening. Please share this with your friends and family. Hopefully, it's each week there's somebody that calls in that has something going on in their lives, and the healing that happens or the information we get from Spirit will touch you with stuff that you have going on in your life. And any of you that are interested in learning how to do all of this, my graduates, I always say, listen to the show, because you can hear what the question is, see what you get, and then compare it to what I get. So it works really well. Sending you lots of love from Sweet Home, Alabama. Mwah. Everybody have a great weekend. I'll meet you back here Thursday night. Take care, everybody.
Be sure to follow Julie on Instagram and YouTube at Ask Julie Ryan, and like her on Facebook at Ask Julie Ryan. To schedule an appointment or submit a question, please visit AskJulieRyan.com.
This show is for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be medical, psychological, financial, or legal advice. Please contact a licensed professional. The Ask Julie Ryan Show, Julie Ryan and all parties involved in producing, recording, and distributing it assume no responsibility for listeners' actions based on any information heard on this or any Ask Julie Ryan shows or podcasts.